All right, my teacher people, you have joined me, and we are going to be talking about research and how to use Google to functionally research within a document that you are already creating. So, in order to do that, we're going to need to go ahead and open a new Google document or a new Google presentation. Either one is fine. My preference for this is a Google document, so I'm going to go ahead and click New, just like opening a regular new one. Click down onto Google Docs. And then I'm going to open this new file. As always, I always take a second and title my document before I do anything else. I'm going to title this Research Practice. And then we can start the process. So researching on Google Docs or within a Google document is exactly like researching on Google, except you don't have to have multiple tabs open. So you can actually research right within the writing that you're already doing or the presentation that you're already creating. So in order to bring up the tab for research, we're going to come up here to Tools, bring down the drop down, and then click on Research. And that's going to bring you up a bar on the right-hand side. Now you'll notice when it brings up the bar, it gives you several options. If you don't see this table drop down automatically, all you have to do is click on this little G, and it will drop this down and give you options for the research that you're doing. So just for my option, let's say I want to research Edgar Allan Poe. So Edgar Poe. And I'm going to go ahead and research in everything first. And so it's going to give me basically what I would normally see on any Google search. It's going to give me a little bit of everything: web results, information, a basic biography, some visuals of him, all the information I would normally get. But I don't have to switch back and forth between tabs to look at this information. I'm actually doing it right here within the writing document that I'm doing. So maybe I want to kind of research just images of Edgar Allan Poe. So what I would do is click on the drop down and then click images, and it's going to bring me up pictures of Poe. I can scroll through here. If I tab over any of these pictures for any length of time, it's going to bring up a preview for me so that I can see a larger image of it. Then the other great thing is that I can actually drag and drop directly from this research bar on the right-hand side. So maybe I love this picture of him with the creepy raven above him. And I'm going to grab, drag, drop, and I can drop it directly into my document. And then again, from my document, I can resize it, move it around, put text, a caption, etc. So this makes it a much more functional piece instead of having to go to another tab, copy the picture, maybe copy it to your hard drive, etc., and then drag and drop it in. So this is one way that researching within your Google Docs is very functional. Now, let's say I don't just need a picture, I actually need a quote about Edgar Allan Poe. I can come through here, I can look at them. Again, it's going to give me these previews of them. They have ones by Edgar Allan Poe. If you wanted one about Poe, you could also research that. But maybe I love this one about I became insane with long intervals of horrible sanity. I'm going to click this little insert button on the left-hand side at the bottom. When I click this button, it's actually going to take that quote and drive it directly over to the Google document. So I have it right here now in the Google document, and I can place this wherever I need to in order to utilize it. So now that I've dropped this into my document, I can move it around the document just like I would any other quote or piece of text, and I can make it a caption for the picture that I have, or I could actually drop it directly into the research paper that I'm writing or whatever it is that I'm writing. So this is another great way that we can use this research tool. And again, if I want to look for maybe a scholarly article about Edgar Allan Poe, I can do that as well. And those are all going to come up. Now, the great thing about that is that obviously these are going to be much more informational texts. I can cite them directly from here. I can actually insert the citation from here, and I can look at previews if I would like to. Now, I can come down here, I can look for dictionary, obviously, tables, I can come back to everything. The great thing about everything, again, is that when I come here, it does give me a preview. So maybe this is a biography and I want to look at it and kind of see where it's coming from. It will bring up this preview in this next tab, which is having a sec moment, but it's not loading, but it would bring up the whole page right here. Now, the writing process is great. The research process is great, and having this ability to have this bar next to me where I can pull everything while I'm already in my document is great. But the best part, I think, for me as an English teacher and as a writing teacher is that I can actually have my students do citations right within the paper that they're already writing, which is really a functional piece for me since it's one of the most difficult things that I teach my students. So earlier, we actually created the add-on of EasyBib. And in order to use it once you're already in a Google Doc, you're going to come up here to add-ons. You're going to click on the EasyBib biography creator and then click here where it says manage bibliography. And again, it's going to bring up a bar on the right-hand side. I notice it gives you the options just like if you've ever used EasyBib, it gives you the option of typing an ISBN number in or a journal article name or a website name. And this is a much more easy to use tool here instead of using it in its own format, in its own page, because I can actually link this directly to the document that I'm creating. So, excuse me. When I'm looking at this, if I have a source that I want to use, so say I have a biography that I want to use for Edgar Allan Poe, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste the web address of the document that I'm looking at. So I have one from the Poe Museum right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to link it directly here and paste it in. And then I'm going to click the search button and we're going to look at it. And it didn't find any results there. And it could be that it's just too much information. So I'm going to delete here all the way to the museum.org and see if it gives me some information. And I need to make sure that I'm clicked on website so that I'm not looking for a book, obviously. So that was my mistake. Now, notice that when you come down here in search results, it says Poe's Life, which is what I was looking at on the museum page. I would select this one. It may come up with several results depending on what you're using. And what it'll do is take the information that the website just gave it and it turns it into a citation. Now, notice it says style MLA. I could also drop this down and use APA, Chicago, or the plethora of other options that you have there. But I want MLA because that's the writing that we're doing. So I have it here. Now, what this is going to do is instead of having to create a new bibliography and cut and paste it every single time and flip back and forth between my pages and creating this separate bibliography, is while this is attached to this page, which it always will be unless you detach it, it's going to create a running list of the citations that you are using. And so I could have this one, I could add another one, and I could have 4 or 5 citations here. Then what it'll do is it keeps this running tab of all these citations that you have, and then you click on this add bibliography to document, and what you're going to see is that it takes it and it goes ahead and shoots it over to your document, and it's already formatted in whatever style that you've created. So if you had 5 or 6, it's going to create them right here. If you had 2 or 3, etc. You're going to have to change to your works cited page, but it's already cited in the format that you want to have it cited in. And it would actually create an entire bibliography or works cited page for our students, which is great because as any of us know who do writing, and especially research papers, this is one of the most difficult things for them to get right and get correct, and also having them actually hold on to the sources that they've used. Well, this does that for them. This holds on to all the sources. And say I decided later on that I hated this source and I'm not going to use it, then all I have to do is come over here and click the X and it would get rid of it for me. And I can take 1 or 2 out, add another 2 or 3, and change this as I move along. And it's going to keep a running total of all of the research that I've done. And as you can see, I can do the same thing with a journal article that I might have researched or a book that I might have used. And we just type everything in here. It's going to search it and give you the information that you need. So for me, it's one of the most functional pieces for the research project. It allows you to not only integrate writing and scholarly articles, etc., it also allows you to integrate visuals and images into the research that you're doing. This can be used on a Google document like I'm doing right now, or in a presentation, which means we can be creating research presentations as well as research writing. So this is how I use research and how I use Google to assist in that research for my students. I'm working for Colin.